Ana de Armas stood under the bright studio lights wearing a soft smile and holding the script in her hand. The scene was supposed to be a quiet walk through an empty park, a late-night conversation, nothing too emotional, but something about. The way Keanu Reeves looked at her made her pause. He wasn't acting. Not really. His eyes held something deeper, like he was remembering someone. She blinked and tried to shake it off. The director called, "Action." They started walking slowly. Their lines were simple, but then Keanu stopped. He looked at the sky and said something that wasn't in the script. "Do you ever wonder," he whispered, "if people remember us after we're gone? Not the movie versions, but the real us." Ana froze. Her heart skipped a beat. That line wasn't written. She turned to him. She was supposed to say her next line, but instead she asked softly, "Keanu, are you okay?" He smiled. "I just needed a moment. Hope that's all right." The crew didn't cut. The cameras kept rolling, and in that moment the scene became real, and not just a performance, but something raw and human. After the take, they sat on a bench near the fake park trees. Ana looked at him carefully. "You weren't acting back there, were you?" Keanu shook his head. "No, sorry. Sometimes I forget how to pretend." Ana didn't laugh. She just nodded. She understood that kind of pain. Fame was strange. People saw their faces, but never their struggles. Later that night, as the studio emptied, Ana sat alone. In her trailer, thinking about his words. Outside, rain began to fall. Soft and steady. She remembered how he looked up at the sky like he was searching for something. Or someone. Suddenly a knock on her door broke her thoughts. She opened it and found Keanu, soaked from the rain, but holding 2 cups of hot tea. "Figured you might need something warm," he said. They sat in silence for a while, sipping tea. No lines, no cameras. Just 2 people, tired and real. Then he spoke. "I lost someone once. Someone who made me believe I was more than the roles I played." Ana looked at him gently. "Was she the reason you said that line tonight?" Keanu nodded. "She believed people remember kindness. Not the fame, not the films. Just the quiet, kind moments." Ana's throat tightened. She had lost people too. People who believed in her before she believed in herself. The rain kept falling. The world outside blurred, and in that quiet space, something changed between them. Not romance, not yet, but understanding. A beginning. The next day, the director praised their scene, called it magic. But only Ana and Keanu knew the truth. It wasn't magic. It was memory. It was grief. It was real. They began spending more time together on set. Not rehearsing, just talking. They shared stories about childhood, loneliness, victories that felt empty, and small joys that meant everything, Ana learned. That Keanu visited children's hospitals in secret. He didn't tell anyone. He didn't take cameras. He just sat with them, told them stories, made them laugh. He told her once, kindness isn't a show. It's what you do when no one's watching. Ana started writing letters against something her mother taught her as a child. Handwritten notes for people on set, small thank yous, it's honest words. And one day, she found a note slipped into her script. "You reminded me why I started this. Thank you." Kay, she smiled for the first time in days, but things weren't always gentle. One evening during a scene, Ana broke down. Her hands shook. Her voice cracked. The director called cut. People rushed over. But Keanu just stepped back and gave her space. Later, she found him sitting quietly outside. "You didn't come to me," she said, wiping her face. "I knew you'd find me when you were ready," he said. She sat beside him and cried. Not for the scene, for something older, deeper. He didn't say much. He just stayed. And in that stillness, she realized something. He wasn't a star. He was a lighthouse. It's quiet, steady, always there. One evening, she asked him, "Do you ever feel like running away from all this?" Keanu looked at the sunset. "Used to now. I just try to bring peace wherever I am, she whispered. You do. That night, as they walked to their cars, she touched his hand. Just briefly. Thank you, she said. Keanu looked at her eyes kind. Thank you, too. And for the first time in a long time, Anna felt seen not as a star, but as a person. The cameras rolled, the scripts changed. But what stayed was that quiet bond, built not on fame, but on truth. And as the days passed, the line between fiction and reality blurred in the most beautiful way. They weren't playing parts. Anymore, they were living something honest. And it was only the beginning. Anna walked into the studio courtyard just before dawn. The air was crisp, still carrying the hush of night. She had barely slept. The tabloids had only gotten louder. The cameras followed her outside her home now. Headlines called it a romance, eh? Publicity stunt. A lie. But none of it felt real. The only real thing was how safe she felt around Keanu, and how deeply it hurt to see that twisted into gossip. She found him where he usually sat. On the bench beneath the old tree near the edge of the lot. He looked up when he saw her, his face calm like it always was. But even calm people break. Just slower. They're making a mess of it, Anna said. Sitting beside him, they don't know us, he replied. But they talk like they do. Keanu nodded slowly. They always will. She leaned back and closed her eyes. I just wanted something quiet. Something real. We still have that, he said gently, as long as we protect it. Anna turned to him. How? He smiled a little by living in it, not explaining it. Wanted to believe that. She really did. But it got harder every day. They kept filming, kept laughing between takes, kept being exactly who they were. But the world kept watching, and the weight of being watched began to press down on Anna. The pressure hit its peak during an interview. She had agreed to a magazine piece to promote the film. She was told it would be professional, respectful. But halfway through, the interviewer leaned in and asked, So, is Keanu more than a co-star to you? Anna paused, smiled politely. He's someone I trust. The interviewer laughed. That's not a no. Anna kept smiling. It's also not your business. They didn't like that answer. The headline the next day read, Anna avoids truth. What is she hiding? When Keanu read it, he just sighed. They want noise, not truth. Anna clenched her fists. But why can't they let people have something soft? He looked at her. Calm, but firm. Because soft things scare them. They can't control them, can't sell them. It was true. And it made her heart ache. That weekend, Anna disappeared. No texts, no calls. Just silence. Keanu searched. Quietly, respectfully. He asked no one. He just drove. He found her 2 days later, sitting by the sea, an hour outside the city. Her shoes were off. Her toes touched the cold water. Her hair was wild from the wind. He stood a few feet behind. Hey, she didn't turn. How did you know I was here? I didn't, he said. I just hoped. She looked back at him. Her eyes were red, but not from crying. Just tired eye. Couldn't breathe in the city, she whispered. Gay. Everyone's watching, judging, twisting. You don't owe them your peace, he said gently. She stared at the waves. I wanted to quit the film. His heart tensed. Why? Because I don't want to lose myself. Keanu stepped closer. Anna, the world is loud, but who you are, that's yours. Don't give it away just to silence them. She looked up at him. I'm scared. So am I, he said. Fear doesn't mean stop. It means pay attention. They sat together until the sun dipped low. They didn't say much after that. Sometimes presence is the only answer. Anna returned to set the next day. Not stronger, not fixed. It's just ready to try again. But the challenges didn't end. A scene came up. Emotional breakdown. Anna had to cry on cue, scream, collapse into silence. She had done it before, many times. But this one hit too close. As the cameras rolled, she froze. The pain caught in her throat and wouldn't come out. Someone yelled, "Cut!" There was silence. The crew looked around awkwardly. Keanu walked toward her, not fast, not slow. Steady, he didn't say anything. He just sat beside her, off camera, and took her hand. The director whispered, "Keanu, you're not in this shot." "I know," he said, "but she is, and she's not alone." Anna broke down, real tears, not for the scene, for everything. They tried again. This time she made it through. Later she asked him, "How do you always know what to do?" He smiled, small and quiet. "I don't. I just do what I'd want someone to do for me." They wrapped the film 2 weeks later. At the final cast dinner, Anna stood up to speak. People clapped, raised glasses, but her voice trembled as she said this: "It was more than a movie for me. It was a place to breathe. And one person gave me that gift every day." She looked at Keanu. Her eyes filled, but she kept speaking. "He reminded me that being kind is more powerful than being popular, that silence can be safe, that showing up again and again is the bravest thing a person can do." The room was still. No applause. Just heartbeats. Keanu smiled softly, bowed his head. They walked out into the night after the dinner. No cameras this time. Just street lights and a cool breeze. Anna turned to him. "You changed something in me." Looked at her, gentle and steady. "You brought something back in me." They didn't hug, didn't kiss, didn't do anything people expected. They just stood there. Two souls who saw each other. But just as they were about to part ways for the night, Anna's phone rang. She answered, and her face changed. Keanu watched her eyes go wide. Her hand shook. She ended the call. "What is it?" he asked her voice. "Was barely there. My mother collapsed. She's in surgery. I have to go." Keanu didn't hesitate. "I'll drive." Anna arrived early that morning. The studio was still quiet. She sat near the edge of the lot with a warm coffee in her hand, watching the sun rise over the rooftops. It had been weeks since the scene in the rain. Weeks since Keanu brought her tea and spoke words that still lived in her chest. Something had shifted, not just in their friendship, but in how she saw the world. He arrived not long after. No fanfare. Just a gentle nod, his backpack slung over one shoulder. He sat beside her without asking. "Morning," he said softly. "Morning." She answered, trying not to smile too much. They didn't talk for a while. They just watched the light change. Then Keanu turned to her. "I have something to show you." He handed her a folded piece of paper. She opened it carefully. Inside was a sketch of pencil lines, smudged at the edges. Showed two people sitting beneath a tree. One was reading, the other was listening. The sky above them was filled with stars. "I used to draw," he said. "Not for anyone, just for peace." Anna held the paper like it was something sacred. "This is beautiful." Keanu looked down. "It's you and me." That night after the scene, her breath caught. She had forgotten the little details, but he hadn't. The way she sat, the way he listened, the quiet between them. "Do you still draw now?" she asked. "Only when I need to remember." Anna touched the corner of the paper gently. "Thank you for remembering me like this." Keanu looked at her, his eyes holding that same soft ache. "How could I not?" The day moved on, and they filmed difficult scenes, emotional dialogue, physical stunts. At one point, Anna slipped and hit the floor hard. The crew rushed over. She waved them off, smiling. But Keanu stayed close. He didn't speak. He just offered his hand. Later, after shooting wrapped, she found a small bandage tucked into her locker. On it, a little smiley face was drawn in marker. No name, no note. But she knew who left it. They started walking together after work. Not every day, just sometimes when the streets were quiet. Keanu liked bookstores, old ones, with creaky floors and dusty corners. Anna liked parks, especially the ones with benches, under tall trees. One evening they found a little cafe with dim lights and soft music. They sat in a booth near the back. The waitress recognized them, but didn't ask for a photo. She just smiled and brought them tea. "Do you miss normal life?" Anna asked, stirring sugar into her cup. Keanu thought for a moment. "Sometimes, but maybe this is normal now. Not the noise, not the lights. It's just this talking, listening, being kind." Anna nodded. "I used to think I had to be strong all the time, perfect. Now, just want to be honest. Perfection, he said. That night they spoke for hours. Not about movies, not about fame, but about little things. Favorite smells, old fears, dreams they never said aloud. Anna told him about her first audition when she had no money and almost gave up. Keanu told her about his sister and how he used to read to her when she was sick. Their stories were like pieces of a puzzle slowly finding their place. But one night, something changed. Anna arrived at set and saw Keanu sitting alone, staring at the ground. Something in his posture was different, heavier. She approached slowly Keanu. He looked up, forced a smile. Hey, but his eyes were tired. Too quiet. What's wrong? She asked, kneeling beside him. He didn't answer right away. Then he whispered, Today is the anniversary. Of what?
Her passing. Anna's heart dropped. I don't like talking about it, he said, but every year it feels like the world forgets. It's like time keeps moving, but I stay here.
Reached out and took his hand. She didn't say anything, just held it gently. Thank you, he said after a long pause. For not forcing words, she looked at him. You don't have to carry it alone, he smiled. Not big. Just enough to say he heard her. Later, after filming ended, Anna left a small candle on the edge of his trailer steps. Beside it, a note that read, Some memories deserve to be held in light. Keanu didn't say anything the next day, but he hugged her when he saw her. And in his hug, she felt years of silence begin to melt. That week, they started reading together between takes. Old poetry, soft novels, handwritten journals. They would take turns, their voices low, eyes soft. One afternoon, she caught him looking at her differently, not romantically, just deeply. What is it? She asked. He shook his head, smiling. I just realized this is what peace feels like. Anna smiled back.
Me too.
But peace wasn't permanent. Not in their world. A tabloid photo surfaced Keanu and Anna laughing outside the cafe. Suddenly, rumors swirled. Headlines screamed. People speculated Anna single quotes as agent called. Is it true? Anna said nothing. Keanu texted her that night. Sorry, didn't mean to bring attention, she replied. You didn't. We were just being human. But the next day on set, things felt different. People stared longer, whispered more. Anna walked into the makeup room and overheard someone say she's just using him for fame. Her chest tightened. Keanu found her sitting alone, eyes wet. What happened? He asked. She told him he didn't get angry, didn't speak against them. He just said, truth doesn't need defending, needs living. Anna wiped her tears. But it hurts, yes, he said. But it won't break you, slowly. It didn't. They kept showing up, kept being kind, kept being real, and the world kept watching. But the story they were writing wasn't one the media could tell it. It was a story written in shared looks, quiet care, and a deep, quiet bond that even fame couldn't touch. The hospital lights felt too bright, too white, too cold. Anna sat in the waiting room, staring at her trembling hands. Her mother was still in surgery. Every second felt like an hour. The beeping machines, the soft whispers of nurses, the smell of antiseptic kit all blurred into a low hum of fear. Keanu sat beside her. He didn't speak. He didn't ask questions. He just stayed. He held her jacket when she was too warm, handed her water when she forgot to drink. From the weight of everything, he gently rested his hand on her shoulder. You're not alone, he said. Just 3 words. But they held her together. The nurse came out finally. She looked tired but calm. Your mother's stable. She's resting now. The surgery went well. Anna let out a breath she didn't know she was holding. Tears slipped down her cheeks, not from grief this time, but from release. Keanu stood with her. Can she see visitors? What? The nurse nodded. Just one person for now. Anna looked at him. Will you come with me? Keanu hesitated. Are you sure? Yes, she said. You've been here through everything. I want her to see the person who helped me breathe. They walked into the dim hospital room. Keanu's mother lay quietly, pale but peaceful. Tubes ran from her arms. Machines blinked gently beside her. Anna stepped forward and held her mother's hand. "Mommy," she whispered. "It's me." Her mother stirred, eyes fluttering open slowly. She gave a faint smile. Anna. Anna leaned in, crying softly. "You're okay. You're safe." Her mother's eyes moved to Keanu. She blinked again. "Is that?" "This is Keanu," Anna said. "My friend." Keanu stepped forward, bowing his head gently. "It's an honor to meet you, ma'am." Her mother smiled weakly. "He's the one, isn't he?" Anna's breath caught. "What do you mean? The one who made you soft again?" Welled up, she nodded. Her mother squeezed her hand. "Keep him close. Kindness is rare." Keanu stepped out to give them space. He stood in the hallway, watching the night deepen outside the window. He thought about all the hospitals he'd stood in, all the loss he'd felt. But tonight was different. Tonight was not about endings. It was about staying. Anna came out later and found him still standing there. "You didn't leave," she whispered. "You needed me," he said simply. They sat together again, his time on the hard hospital chairs, her head resting on his shoulder. "You know," she said after a while, "I used to think being strong meant hiding pain. Now I think it's about letting someone see it." Keanu nodded. "And letting someone carry it with you." A nurse brought blankets. They stayed the night, not talking, just being there. In that quiet, something deep settled between them. Next morning, Anna's mother asked for a photo with Keanu. He laughed softly, but agreed. "I want to remember the man who watched over my daughter when I couldn't." She said the photo was simple. Him sitting beside her bed, holding her hand gently. Anna took it, her eyes misty. A few days later, Anna's mother was discharged. Anna thanked every nurse, hugged every doctor. And when they left the hospital, she turned to Keanu. "I want to take you somewhere." They drove for hours. Through winding roads, past lakes, up into the hills. Finally, they stopped at a quiet overlook. Beneath the sky, the valley below shimmered in the late sunlight. "My father used to bring me here when I was little," Anna said. "He said this view reminded him that there's more to life than what we see every day." Keanu stood beside her. He was right. Anna looked at him. "I don't know what we are, friends. More than friends. But I know this. I feel safe when I'm with you. And not just safe whole." Keanu's eyes met hers. He didn't rush, didn't reach out. He just looked at her with the weight of every quiet moment they had shared. "You don't need to name it," he said. "Just feel it." Anna stepped closer. She took his hand. Not for a scene. Not for show. For real, they stood together, facing the vastness. Hands linked, but their peace didn't last long. The next day, news broke. A leaked hospital photo. Keanu holding Anna's mother's hand. Tabloids exploded. New headlines screamed. Anna's mystery man comforts her mother, romance confirmed. Anna's phone wouldn't stop ringing. Producers, agents, journalists, even her own friends asked, "Is it true? Are you two together?" She felt betrayed. Exposed, she turned off her phone and drove straight to Keanu's place. He opened the door before she even knocked. "I'm so sorry," she said. "I didn't think anyone saw us." He nodded. "They always see." "I hate this," she said, voice shaking. "Why do they ruin everything good?" Keanu stepped aside, let her in. They sat on his floor, back against the wall. "You know what hurts the most?" Anna whispered. "I finally found something real." And they turned it into noise. "Then let's turn it back into silence," he said. "How?" He pulled out an old radio, turned the dial. Soft classical music filled the room. "We listen. To the quiet," he said, "until the world forgets how to shout." Anna closed her eyes and listened. And slowly, the noise faded. They spent the whole night just like that, talking, laughing, dancing barefoot in the living room. And for a moment, they were untouchable. But deep down, Anna knew something was coming. Something that would force them to choose between the world and each other. Anna sat on the edge of the rooftop garden above Keanu's building. The city below sparkled with 1,000 lights, but none of them felt warm. It had been 3 weeks since the hospital photo leaked, since the world tried to define what she and Keanu were, and now there was a new offer, one that could change everything. She had been offered the lead role in a major international film, her dream project, a story that felt close to her soul, a chance to create something meaningful. But there was a condition: filming would begin in 6 days, in another country, and last nearly a year. She hadn't told Keanu yet. He joined her on the rooftop, holding 2 mugs of tea. "You've been quiet," he said, thinking she replied softly. He handed her the tea. "Want to tell me what about?" She took a breath. "I got a role. It's big. That's great," Keanu said, smiling gently. "You deserve that." She looked at him. "It's in Romania. It's long. And I'd have to leave next week." His smile didn't change, not at first, but something behind his eyes flickered. "How long?" 11 months. Keanu nodded slowly. "That's almost a year, I know." Silence settled between them like fog, not angry, not bitter. Just heavy. "I don't want to lose what we have," she said, almost a whisper. "Then don't," he replied calmly. "But we'll be apart for months, and everything is already fragile." The media, the rumors. Keanu looked at her, steady. "We don't break because of distance. We break when we stop choosing each other." She felt tears prick her eyes. "What if we drift? What if we become strangers again?" "Then we start over," he said. "I'll write letters, send bad poems. You'll laugh at me, and we'll find our way back." You make it sound easy. It's not. It's just worth it. Anna turned to him. "Are you sure?" Keanu smiled, slow and honest. "I've never been more sure of anything." The night breeze blew through her hair. She leaned into him, rested her head on his shoulder. "Promise me something," she said. "Anything." "What?" "Don't disappear, even if the world gets loud again." "I won't," he said. "I'll be here." Waiting in the quiet, they didn't kiss, didn't cry. They just held hands and let their hearts speak. Anna left 5 days later. The airport was a mess of flashes and shouting voices. But Keanu didn't come to the gate. He stood outside in the quiet part of the terminal. He handed her a notebook. "What's this?" she asked. "A story," he said. "Ours. Unfinished. Keep writing it." She hugged him, tight. Neither of them spoke. Some moments don't need words. The first few weeks in Romania were overwhelming. Long hours, harsh weather, demanding scenes, and the media still followed her. But every night, without fail, she found a letter in her email, a message from Keanu. Short, thoughtful, always ending the same: "I'm still here." Sometimes short replies, sometimes long pages about everything she was feeling. But one night, she came back to her apartment and found no message, no email, nothing. She waited. The next day, still nothing. On the 3rd day, worry turned to fear. She called. No answer. She messaged. No reply, finally. She called someone from the studio in law. What they told her made her hands go cold. Keanu had been in a motorcycle accident. Not serious, but enough to land him in the hospital. He had asked the staff not to tell anyone. Didn't want media attention. Anna didn't think, didn't wait. She booked the first flight back. The flight was long. Her mind raced the entire time. She didn't care about the film. Didn't care about the press. All that mattered was him. When she reached the hospital, she rushed to the front desk. "Keanu Reeves," she said, breathless. The nurse blinked. "Are you family?" Anna paused. "I'm someone who never stopped choosing him." The nurse smiled and nodded. Room 214, Anna walked in, heart pounding. Keanu lay in the bed, bruised but smiling faintly. "I was going to write," he said. She burst into tears. "You scared me? I'm sorry." She walked over and took his hand. "Don't do that again." He laughed softly. "I'll try not to." Anna sat beside him. Hours passed. They didn't speak much. They didn't need to. Finally, she said, "I left the movie." Keanu looked surprised. "Why?" "Because this suits the real story. And I want to be here to write it with you." Keanu looked at her eyes, full. We're not done, are we? She shook her head. We're just getting started. He reached into the drawer beside the bed and handed her something. Her notebook. I kept writing, he said. Even when it hurt. She opened it and saw. His handwriting. Pages filled with thoughts, memories, poems, letters he never sent. One line stood out. If you come back, I'll still be here. Always. She closed the notebook and looked at him. Then I'm not leaving again. The weeks that followed were slow and healing. Keanu's bruises faded. His limp eased. Anna stayed by his side, quietly weaving herself into his days. She brought him food, read to him, made him laugh with old behind-the-scenes stories. They sat on the balcony of his apartment, wrapped in blankets, sharing silence like a language. The world outside still buzzed. Paparazzi waited at every corner. Interview requests kept pouring in. Headlines tried to twist their story again. Some called it love, some called it fake. Some didn't know what to call it at all. But Anna had stopped caring, so had Keanu. Because now they were writing their story from the inside. One rainy afternoon, Anna found an envelope taped to her apartment door. It was from the studio that produced her last film. She opened it and read the letter inside. A nomination. Not just any nomination. She had been chosen for the most prestigious acting award of the year. Keanu found her sitting in the hallway, letter in hand, eyes wide with disbelief. They saw it, she said. They saw the truth in my work. Keanu smiled gently. 'Cause you didn't act, you lived. But now they want me to go back. To speak, to attend the ceremony. Keanu nodded slowly. You should. Will you come with me? He looked at her with warm eyes. I'll be in the front row. The award night came quickly. The room was filled with glittering gowns, tuxedos, flashes from 1,000 cameras. Anna walked the carpet with her head held high. Keanu walked beside her, simple as ever, black suit, soft eyes, quiet presence. When the winner was announced, she didn't expect it. Her name echoed across the hall. The crowd rose. She froze for a second, then looked at him. Keanu stood, hands gently clapping, eyes shining. She walked to the stage, heart pounding, hands shaking. The microphone stood tall and cold before her. She looked out at the sea of faces. Powerful, polished, perfect. And then she spoke. I almost didn't make it here. Not because of doubt, but because I forgot what mattered. I thought success meant being seen, but real success, seeing others. The room was still. One person reminded me of that. He never asked for attention, never wanted praise. But he showed me that kindness is the strongest story we can tell. Her voice cracked, but she kept going. I dedicate this not to a film, but to every quiet moment that taught me how to be human again. She walked off stage to a standing ovation, but all she saw was him, waiting in the wings, eyes soft, arms open. After the ceremony, they drove home in silence. Anna held the award in her lap, but her heart was full for a different reason. I've been thinking, Keanu said as they pulled into the driveway. About what? About the next chapter? She turned to him. What about it? He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small notebook, the same one he had filled with letters, drawings, thoughts. He handed it to her. Page 78, said. She opened it, and there in his messy handwriting were the words, Will you keep writing this story with me? For real, forever. Breath caught. She looked at him. Yes, she whispered. Even if the world watches. Let them. They walked into the house, into the quiet, to their future. No lights, no cameras, no scripts. Just two people who chose each other. Again and again, the world would keep talking. But they had already said everything that mattered. Not with words, but with presence, with kindness, with love that asked for nothing except to stay.